Yeah, this is a story. Because I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of nicknames because I have a lot of experience in life. I'm not a kid out of high school, kid out of college, guy's only been in the working world a few years. I have a lot of experience. And a lot of nicknames. People know me as Truckster, CJ, Reverse, Luke. Leave it in the comments if you're curious how any of those nicknames come into effect. But I've been told, whether by friends, colleagues, viewers on YouTube, people I network with on YouTube, my family, that I'm a pretty good storyteller and have a lot of good stories to tell. And part of the reason for that, like I said, is experience. Another reason is I'm a writer. I've published several, let me try to say several correctly. I can't say several today. Several short stories, and I've written novels of which nobody really cares and never been published, although one was almost published. And I continue to do that, so that says something about my tenacity, my persistence, and my character. But this particular story is about friendship. This story is about understanding, and this story is kind of about passion. Spinning the clock back, late 20s, early 30s, I had a lot of friends, but most of those friends were married and were starting to have kids, so that puts them in a different social parameter. I had friends that I worked with that were good people, great friends, but they didn't live close by, so if I wanted to do something spontaneous or something immediate, they weren't always there. I had friends from college who were scattered about the U.S., so even though I had a lot of friends, there was only one friend that was always there, and that was my best buddy Lee. And the two of us had so many things in common. We had the same principles, the same values, the same beliefs, and the same interests. We were both huge sports fans, shared a passion for the Mets and Jets, and when the Islanders played the Rangers, we were rivals. That's a classic rivalry, like any sports rivalry you can think of. And we were just two very different personalities. I'm very emotional, very passionate, very creative kind of person, always have some sort of idea, good ideas, bad ideas, stupid ideas, brilliant ideas. And my buddy was very even keel, very malaise. You never saw him get excited about anything. Yet, you also very rarely saw him get down. He was a very even keel kind of guy, very regular kind of guy, hardcore realist. And the two of us got along great. We really did. And most of the time, what our ritual was, Friday night, dinner and a movie. Steak dinner at a cool place, go to a movie. Saturday night, more upbeat, go to a bar, go to a club. And then we go to the bar, go to the club, and we walk around for a couple of hours and, get hungry, go to the diner, and make excuses why we didn't talk to any women. On occasion, we go to a movie, go to a sporting event, go to a concert. But mostly, Friday was laid back because we worked, we were tired. Saturday was go out and party. Now, there was one Saturday night that an ex-girlfriend of mine had a friend. And this spins the clock back many years. When I was dating this girl, she had a friend that I kind of liked and she kind of liked me. But obviously nothing happened because I was dating my ex-girlfriend at the time and my ex-girlfriend was her friend, so nothing was going to happen. Now about 10 years had passed. And I heard through the grapevine from a friend of a friend of a friend or whatever that her brother was going to be DJing at this club and she was going to be there that Saturday night. And I was curious. I was in a bit of slump with the ladies and I wanted to go out and basically bang her, let's be honest. And I wanted to be there Saturday, right? I really had this sense of urgency to go. Now, sometimes when I was trying to get my friend Lee out of the house, it was a task. I had to pitch him. I had to sell him. I had to really, really pump up a lot of enthusiasm, and I was capable of doing that because I'm creative as a writer, and I'm persuasive because I'm a salesman, and eventually, 95% of the time, I got him out the door. But this Saturday night, I couldn't get him out the fucking door. And this Saturday night had a purpose. This Saturday night had an agenda. I had urgency. I had to get to this club to meet this ex-girlfriend's friend who was pretty damn hot. And maybe, it's all I wanted. But he wouldn't go out. Now, the reason he gave me was because he got this book from Amazon that he's been dying to read. Now, both of us share the same passion of sci-fi fantasy. Star Trek fans, Lord of the Ring fans. and of course Star Wars fans. Both of us really shared those common denominators. We had that common interest, that common fandom. And this was a fantasy book that he just got in the mail from, Amazon, a Saturday afternoon, and he was dying to read it. He's like, nope, Lux, not going out, I'm going to read this book. Now, for guys in his late 20s, early 30s, I think it was in my early 30s, fact of the matter is, going out on a Saturday is what you do. You go to a bar, you go to a club, but like staying home and reading a fucking book is not something you do on a Saturday night. That just was ridiculous to me. So, I'm like, what's the deal? I threw everything at him. I tried to persuade him. I tried to motivate him. I begged. I pleaded. I almost wrote him a fucking check. I wanted him to go. He would not go. Now, if you understand my situation, my married friends basically had to, break the foundation through the basement, tunnel out, tunnel out through the front lawn or the backyard and get out of the house that way. Guys I worked with lived an hour away and couldn't readily be there. Guys that I went to college with were in, not only another zip code, but another state. So this is my buddy. This guy was always there for me, and I was always there for him, and he just would not go out that night. And I was infuriated. I really was. I mean, I forgave him because in the big scheme of things, it's small potatoes, but I do want to say this. A few years later, he did pass away at a very young age, and about a year after his passing, his father invited me over for dinner one night. And he said to me, he's like, Lux, I understand, you're probably in the same situation with me where you kind of want to move on. And I thought it would be a good idea, for you to come over, go to Lee's room and check out some of his stuff. Maybe there's something of interest to you there. Maybe there's something that you've always coveted in there. Maybe there's some sort of memento you'd like to take, because I kind of have to pack all this stuff away and try and move on with my life. And he was right. I was in the same boat, same place as he was, same chapter, same page. We both had to lick our finger and turn the page. So I went down to Lee's room, and I took a few things that kind of spoke to me, that meant something to me, that served as a memento. And then I was looking at the bookshelf, and I saw a book, Lord of the Rings. It was a beautiful leather-bound book with amazing illustrations. It was so big it could fucking, block a doorway. And then I saw that other book. That other book that threw a crimp in my plans to try to meet this girl, threw a crimp in my plans of urgency to go out that night and meet this girl. I had a sense of urgency. He could have waited a day or two to read the book. I even offered him, I said, dude, let's go out for an hour or two. If she's not there, we'll leave. You come home, you could read the book. No. That book, I hated that fucking book. That book was George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones, which meant nothing to me at the time and means the world to me now. I have enormous respect for George R.R. Martin as a writer, because that has always been one of my aspirations, and I fucking love the series more than Star Trek, and I never thought I'd love anything more than Star Trek. So the moral of the story is very simply this. If there's someone who's dear to you and they have a passion, try to understand their passion. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Because had I done that, a very small regret in my life is not choosing that Game of Thrones book, not taking that Game of Thrones book with me. Because that would have been the perfect memento for a very old and very good friend of mine. Just thought I'd share the story, a little bit about passion, friendship, etc., etc. Luxeley out.